should be like you, Mel?
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Cherries fans from around the world. Welcome back to another edition of Cherry Slaps on this Monday evening. As you just noticed there, it's not Cherry AM, it's not a morning. Don't worry, that's my mistake. As always, welcome Malcolm Chiverton. How are you this evening, Malcolm?
Yeah, hi Ollie. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, all good. Thanks very much.
Good.
Hope they all spotted the deliberate mistake.
Yeah, obviously deliberate. Nothing to do with the tiredness and the bags under the eyes, I promise. But look, without further ado, let's get into what was a fantastic game at the weekend. A game that me and Malcolm finally watched together. It took a couple of weeks and a couple of attempts, but we got there in the end.
Along with Darren.
Along with Darren, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Which I believe may be the case again tomorrow, but we'll wait and see. However, this game was a fantastic game. From end to end, really, I think. And one of the first games this season where we'll look at the stats, which we'll get into in a moment, and we dominated on the shots. We dominated on the shots on target. We took the most shots outside of the box, and it was interesting to see how that game played out. But Malcolm, take us through what was... a dominating first half, really, from Bournemouth, and our starting 11 actually to start it all off, which again was a
really important feature. Actually, you have to look at. It was something that had been talked about, obviously leading up to the game. You know, what would the starting 11 be? And I actually went for Ryan to start on the bench, which others said no, he'll start. I mean, I was hoping he would start, but I said that Adley would. Should Ryan start, Adley would start on the bench, and then they would maybe swap later. That wasn't the case. But wow, very attack-minded starting 11 for me, and obviously, you know, talk through the game in a minute. It was the perfect setup, really, what Andoni did. You know, take my hat off to the boss because he knew what he was doing, knows the capability of the players. And once again, obviously, you know, with players coming back in slowly, I don't know if anybody saw the press conference today from Andoni. Obviously, with Brooksy back. Obviously, we got Ryan Christie. Tav isn't far away, and also the possibility soon Tyler Adams. So, but Tyler Adams is a step ahead of Tav. So, but where do you fit them in? Is the question.
Yeah. Well, the starting 11 kind of. Well, firstly, it put the tactical shift back into play, right? Alex Jimenez moved back into his more natural fullback role, which kind of allowed a bit more space for us to bring in someone to either strengthen CDM, which we thought may have been the case for the Villa game, but instead they've gone the other way. And then, as you said, put more attacking force on the pitch. And in this case, Ryan, which came out on the right wing, right, as a debut start for the Brazilian. Talk me through his debut start and what we think of his first half, because obviously didn't get the fantastic goal to the second half, but first half, obviously Morgan Rogers was strong and got the goal for Villa. There was a couple of back and forths in regards to our defence, but we looked good. Yeah, talk me through his first 45.
Okay, well, speaking of lineups, Villa were without really their midfield. So no McGinn, no Tielemans, and no Kamara.
Yep.
Whichever way you look at it, whichever club it is, it doesn't matter. You take your three strongest midfielders out, and obviously the captain as well included in that. You are not going to be as strong over 90 minutes. There's going to be weaknesses somewhere around the pitch. But having Onana and Lewis in the midfield, they did all right, considering Lewis was, I think, returned from injury. But Onana, he's a pain in the butt for the opposition, to be honest with you. But it's such a brilliant player. He does it without. Well, it seems like effortless. Is the way I would describe the way he plays. It's just so natural. And it just reads the game and sets everything up, or with defending, and absolute top class player. Never sort of take it lightly, when he's on the pitch. Even if the others come back, they've got to find room for him somewhere in the starting 11. A really class player. So obviously, slightly weakened Villa team. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about injuries because every club has them, and it's always around sort of December time. So December going into January, because the season's like halfway through.
Yep.
Some will have more than others. So I just won't, I won't look into that. It's part and parcel of the game these days. You want to start with Ryan? Really cool first half. Wow, link up play, vision. I mean, he was doing cross-field passes, for goodness sake. He's 19.
Yep.
His home debut, and he's not the finished article by a long shot. But what I saw of him in that first half alone, I thought, well, he's going to cement his place quite soon. I don't know if he'll start against Everton, but why not? I know changes will be coming in. Andoni did mention that in the press conference today. So, but what changes, we don't know. He wouldn't sort of say exactly what.
I think I think it's important to note that. Sorry, there's a baby face at the door. I think it's important to note that Martinez had a fantastic game. He made some really epic saves, I
was going to get onto that later, actually. But
that's, I think, just in comparison with what our startup could be against Everton. I think if we come out and we play the same way as we did against Villa with the similar lineup, we'd absolutely take our chances. I think double time against Everton. It could be 3-1.
Jordan Pickford's gonna have a busy night then, isn't he?
It's going to be a very busy night for him anyway, I think. But please continue, because there's definitely some standout players. I think, obviously, when we watched it together, there was a few performances that we commented on that I want to come to for sure. So
absolutely. Okay, first half. I mean, we started off really well. I wouldn't say that Villa were bad. I wouldn't say they were poor in the first half. Certainly not. Defensively, obviously, they got the height there, and they look pretty pretty sound at the back, to be honest with you. I suppose, you know, when you get the bodies back defending, and they kept us sort of more or less at distance, you know, shooting from outside the box most of the time. But once they got into the game, so I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and they started knocking it around, they had a couple of opportunities. Let's just say, opportunities to score. But it was only like maybe the final ball.
Yep.
But they did look good going forward. Jadon Sancho, really good, and Morgan Rogers, bloody hell. I mean, don't give me a yard, mate. It's but having said that, you can have players that'll step up.
Yeah.
You'll also have other players that may be quite average. But there were a few on the Villa side today who were Saturday, who were below par.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that. Yeah, agreed for sure. Agreed. And I think when you're playing at what we are at the moment, a trump team like Bournemouth, you can't really have players playing like that, right? You have to come out and have 100% effort.
But that's not taking anything away from the way we played.
Just about to say, it sounds like we're a bit of a repeated record at the moment. But again, first half, for me, the standout players were Scott and Kroupi.
Absolutely. I mean,
without a doubt, don't get me wrong, Adley and Ryan definitely start coming into play a lot more towards the second half. But again, just the spine of that team, first half, they were just constantly moving. They were constantly running. They were constantly attacking and defending. Just brilliant impacts on the pitch. Everything that they did was fantastic effort. But as you said, obviously there was a couple of Villa players. Obviously, Kroupi also hit the bar a couple of times. We had, I think,
Ryan hit the bar.
Ryan hit the bar. I think it was 5 shots that we had from long range outside the box. And coming back to what I said at the start as well, controlling the possession was different to what we normally see, is what I'm going to say, because I want to start talking about the second half in a moment. To go, please, go ahead. Second half. So obviously we go in 1-0 down.
Well,
and
can we finish off the first half?
Yeah, go for it.
You know, you mentioned Alex Scott and Junior Kroupi.
Yep.
Link up play. You know, and the movement. Oh, it's a joy to watch. It really was a joy to watch. You had Jimenez. He had. Who was he on? Was he on Buendia?
Buendia,
yeah. You know, he more or less had him in his pocket, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, and then when he had Ollie Watkins knocking around, you know, Ollie Watkins is not the player he was last season. You know, I'll give you that. But having said that, you know, top class striker. You know, he hardly got a sniff, did he?
No, he didn't.
But
again, some fantastic performances in defence, which again I think get overlooked a little bit.
Alongside him, he had James Hill. So, wow, another standout performer.
Yeah.
There wasn't a bad player on the Bournemouth team at all on Saturday, and the whole 90 minutes. Normally, I would say, when we go a goal down, you always got that. You get a bit of a feeling in your gut, oh, here we go again, sort of thing. But I wasn't even worried. I wasn't concerned, because I thought, well, we're going to get back into this. You know, we just got to keep going the way we are. Obviously, you need to speak about the Villa goal. Brilliant finish. My God, set up wonderfully by Sancho for Rogers. Yeah. I mean, Petro didn't have a chance.
No,
I don't think any keeper would.
right? Completely out of nowhere. It wasn't something that we were expecting. We were dominating really for that first 22 3 minutes, and then all of a
first
sudden,
goal,
yeah.
yeah, a bit unfortunate, but the heads didn't drop. We just said, all right, come on, they've got one, now it's our turn, and they just never gave up. But even in that first half, Emi Martinez, crikey's, some of the saves he made.
Yeah, some fantastic saves. Really fantastic saves.
Really, really good. And Pedro had one really decent one in the first half as well. So, I think I won't say it was an even first half, but slightly more to us, maybe 60-40. A bit disappointing going one down at the break. But come on, you can kick off a second half, matey.
Well, I was going to say, I think we were, when we were watching it, we were a bit disappointed, right? Going into the first half, 1-0 down, knowing how well we performed in that first half. So there was no doubt for the second half or concern. But we knew we had to come out and perform, right? And to be fair, just before I do that, Paul from Oz is in. Evening, guys.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul. Coming out in the second half, I think I didn't expect us to come out as strong as we were. I think we almost drew level immediately from a couple of shots before Rayan had his fantastic effort, which again, first goal, after he's come on for the starting 11, the age that he's at, some of the passes that he was making, some of the runs he was making. I mean, he skipped through those back two defenders to put that goal into the back of the ball, into the back of the net, didn't he? It was a fantastic goal. And one that came at a pretty pivotal time for us in the game, 55 minutes in. Go ahead.
Well, you've got to say Luca Dean went AWOL, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's just like, as soon as Ryan started running in, he picked the ball up right on the touchline. And you're thinking, right, okay, there was some space there. It wasn't huge. But once he started running, then normally you would have a defender come out to close him down, which was really what Luca Dean's job was. And he didn't. He more or less sort of said, "Here you go, run on through."
Yeah,
and, there must have been a really big inquiry after the game as to how that actually happened. From a defensive point of view, it was absolutely atrocious. Take nothing away from Rayan for what he did.
Yeah.
He exploited the space. He had the pace, and he had the finish. And the only way he was going to score was going to be down low. Because of the power of the shot, there was no way Martinez could get down there quick enough right at the post. So, take my hat off to him. Thank you. It was special. It was special, and it was something that all Cherries fans, whether you're at home watching on the TV or in the stadium, it's a moment that you'll look back on maybe in 5 years' time and say, "Crikey, I remember that."
Yeah.
No matter where we'll be in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
But really, really nice moment. Thoroughly deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Can't take anything away from that. From the team performance. And to be really, really fair, that second half, it was more or less one-way traffic. Very little came back from Villa.
I was just about to say, I think coming back to your comment on the defensive mistake, it definitely looked like the defence and Martinez thought Rayan was going to go somewhere else. It definitely didn't look like they thought or expected him to run straight through and then have a shot on target, which I think is why it caught everyone off guard, right? As he was just hungry for the goal, which is fantastic.
It's a team that's chasing Champions League football.
Yeah,
and you can't defend like that. And I'm sure Emery, isn't it? he'd have been really, really angry inside at seeing that.
Yeah,
I'm sure of it.
Oh, well, I want to. There's some comments that I want to come to in a moment.
Yeah, please do. Go on through, mate. Yeah.
The rundown of the game just quickly, because obviously after the goal, as you said, it wasn't like it put a boot up Villa's backside, was it, at all? It looked like Bournemouth got more confident, started pressing with more intensity. And we were trying to get the 3 points, really. And I think you've mentioned it, and Sean's mentioned it, and maybe someone else has mentioned it, that this is a
run through the comments, Ollie.
Team, and we're getting a draw from them. Sean says it was a game we should have won, but a point against essentially a Champions League team is always good. Exactly that.
I think most of us would have taken a point before kickoff.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially with how they're playing at the moment. So Chris Hubble says, evening, Ollie and Mal. Evening, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Paul from Oz agrees with Sean about the champ. Yep, exactly. Should have won, but a point against Champions League team. Yeah, exactly that. And says, hi, Chris. Chris says, AFCB played well, and Rayan'S goal was amazing to see. Absolutely was. Sean says, I thought Rayan was exactly like Semenyo. To me, frustrating, then suddenly a moment of magic. I disagree with this, Sean. I think... Again, actually, I'll tell you why I disagree in a moment, because him and Adley I'm going to come to in a minute. Chris Hubble, go on, Mel.
What I was going to say, the people writing in the chat, all right, it's Rayan, so with an Rayan, not Ryan. Yeah. People might see Ryan, they'll probably Ryan Fraser.
Chris says, hi, Paul, hope you're well. Paul from Oz says, thinks Martinez was expecting a goal to go across him, not the near post. Yeah, saw that, Paul.
Yeah.
And he says, sure am, Chris. And says, let's hope that AFCB get a win away tomorrow night against Everton. Yes, which will be back for doing a live watch along, maybe, I believe. But we'll come to that in a moment. Again, another one I'm going to address. Adley was frustrating, but he's starting to get consistency.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah,
we're going to talk about that in just a moment, because coming up to the final moments of the game, obviously we continue to push. And for me, one of the most important things that happened was Christie coming on. And the, 2 or 3 shots I think he had on target. 3 shots in a short space of time. I mean, he was gunning for it for once. I haven't quite seen that in him recently, and it was nice to see him back and really trying to make an impact on the game.
This was really interesting, because there was a now what was I watching? I was watching something online. I don't ask me now. And somebody mentioned about the change. It could have been something on Facebook. I haven't a clue. Like Kroupi got taken off, and a lot of fans couldn't understand it. But Christie came on for him, if I'm right in remembering. Now, bearing in mind, we got Cook and Scott, like the midfield. So it was like a free hit for Christie to play, up front a bit more behind Evan Nielsen. And he did fantastically well when he came on. I mean, he never gives anything less than 100%, but he was actually finding the positions, and that was what really impressed me. As you said, 3 shots on target, one absolutely awesome save from Martinez as well. It was just like hell's bells, but he impacted brilliantly, which is what we want our subs to do anyway. So really excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And look, I think it's important to mention these, right? Because and it brings me back to look, Sean says it here. Christie has started to look like his old self last couple of appearances. Yeah, starting to get back into the swing of things, which is fantastic. Now, do you want to address the comments about Adley and Rayan though? Because in my opinion, I think that Rayan had a fantastic game. I think his first half was incredible for his starting minutes for a team like Bournemouth, especially to get his starting minutes so early. Bear in mind, not everyone necessarily gets that chance, but the guy was running at defenders. He showed huge amounts of quality and calm and composure in striking positions, in build-up positions, in home-facing goal positions. Like everything that he was doing looked good, in my opinion. I think he really deserved that goal. I think that's going to be the start, and I think it's going to be interesting to see the growth of him. I think he's going to be, well, he's in the same categories as Kroupi, and we all know what Kroupi does when Kroupi comes on the pitch for us, right? Another standout player, in my opinion, Kroupi, but Adley, yes, 100% agree. He's not 100% where we want him to be yet, but I think it's unfair to say it's frustrating because
it's not frustrating.
I think he looked fantastic. I think his everything we've been saying about Jimenez, right, about honing in this character and bringing in the aggression and focusing on the strengths and not the weaknesses. I think that's exactly what Adley's done. And he came in and he was more focused. He was less emotional and less reactive. He was looking up a load more. He was gelling with his players much better. I think it was wholeheartedly a real turning point for him in Aston Villa's game for Adley. I don't know if maybe I'm talking nonsense here now, but that's just the feeling. If anything, I think the person that didn't stand out for once was Evan Nilsson because of all of these other players.
You try and watch 11 individuals at the same time. It's virtually impossible. That's why the beauty of watching it back, you got the opportunity because you can always stop it, pause it, rewind, and then go again. So, like I said, there wasn't a bad player on the pitch for Bournemouth. We had a little bit of a discussion on Saturday, didn't we? Kroupi and Adley. We agreed to disagree, which is fine. Everybody's entitled to opinions. With Adley, and I said this last week, he's a couple of games behind. All right, and that isn't a negative because every player will take X amount of time. We've been so fortunate to have those that have come in that have actually hit the ground running. You said it, Jimenez, perfect. Trufair, perfect.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work for everybody. But what I do like is the passion, the willingness to run and fight for the team.
Yeah.
So obviously Adley is doing something right to get a start. And in my view, correct. Why not? Because if you're just going to put him on the bench for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, it's not going to bring anything out of the player himself.
Yeah.
Now, you must also throw into the equation, and this isn't, being racist or anything, the mentality of the players. They come from different countries. They have different mentalities, all right? And they're very, very emotional footballers. And some of them can keep it in and others can't. And we've seen Adley over the last, maybe 3 games perhaps, where, like you said, he shows his emotion. He gets a bit pedantic at times, and think, come on, calm down. I just get on with it. But that's the type of person he is. And if he can funnel that emotion into his game and concentrate more, he's going to be better for it. And I'm sure, he's got the backing of all his teammates because he put in a really good shift on Saturday. There's no reason, it's just the way they are.
Yeah.
They are all individuals. They are all different. And everybody's got something that's not, to everybody's liking about them.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting you say that because there's some more comments. So I want to give a final overview, and then I'm going to run into the comments and then do some bits and bobs at the end. So as you said, I think it's important to remember it was a different starting 11. We can say what we like about the players on the pitch, as you said, but that first half it was 13-2 shots for us.
Wow.
So again, just looking deeper into the stats here as you're talking, and yes, don't get me wrong, Rodgers obviously converted pretty well in 22nd, 25th minute, but apart from that, we looked dangerous and we looked dominating, controlling, and we were fantastic in that first half. However the result went, after that 45 minutes, we were incredible to watch, as you said. Second half, and again, just kind of giving an overview, it showed we weren't just reactive, right? We were in attack mode the whole second half. I mean, even with coming on, the goal from Rayan, Christie coming on, the changes that were made, we were constantly still trying to get the 3 points and not come away with 1 point, which again against the Champions League contending team is incredible, right? Just want to point some bits and bobs out because
please do.
Where are we? Paul from Oz says Christie certainly shooting better than last season. Rayan has the World Cup on his mind. He will want to impress and play as much as possible. Absolutely will. Jeremy Keynes says Rayan is brilliant and hopefully he can score tomorrow against Everton. Yep.
Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening, Jamie. Felt Rayan will certainly start at Everton. Paul from Oz. Jamie Keynes hearing Adams could be back in next few weeks as well as Tav, which is good news. Absolutely is. But again, question for you, Jamie, in the chat. Are they going to have to battle to get back into their spots? It's been an interesting couple of games and how we adapt with our squad depth and the players that shine when other players take injury. It happens every season. It's going to be an interesting one. What do you guys think of Trefer? He's constantly a 7 out of 10 for me. And if Soler was fit, Trefer should be switched as Trefer hasn't done enough to get an automatic place. I want to deep dive into this, Sean. I hate to be picking on your comments this evening. But I'm going to because completely disagree with it. Now, excuse me. The only reason I disagree with it is because at the weekend specifically, he had the highest pass completion rate in anyone on the pitch at being 85%. And at the moment, given his performances, yes, I would say none of them are standout performances, agreed, which maybe doesn't put him at a constant 8, 9 or 10. I agree with that. But I think a constant 7 out of 10 is unfair because of how... I mean, let's look at who he replaced firstly. So he came in, he took over Kirkes. Everyone thought that Kirkes was the best thing that we had since sliced bread, right? I feel that Trefer, and this has already been summed up, is already more attacking and more defending. He's got the most overlapping runs of anyone in the season as a defender so far this season, that being 58, which is a huge amount of overlapping runs for a defender, really. Kirkes was nowhere near that last year. So I think if we look at stats for what he's doing for Bournemouth at the moment, I think he's an incredible player. I think he's definitely earned his automatic position without a doubt. And he's a solid member of the team, I think, at the moment. I mean, unless you disagree with that, Mal.
I mean, I can't see how. I mean, I'm obviously disappointed that Soler hasn't had opportunities, even if it's, substitution appearances. Maybe give him 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But for me, Trefer is Mr. Reliable. Oh, I've seen the other comment already. What Sean's put in here. So.
Yeah, I was just thinking there. I don't think you have checked, but do go and check, Sean. Just so everyone can see. So it doesn't concern you that most of our goals conceded from his side. So I can understand why you'd think that the goal he was caught lacking against Villa on the run that they made. But I don't think that's something that we can blame Trefer for, because his position from Andoni does not allow him to sit back in our half when we're attacking. That's just not what Trefer's role is. So obviously, if we get caught on a counter-attack as quick and as good as they did on Saturday, he's going to get caught out every now and then. And yes, obviously it can happen. He's not going to be perfect. And he did get caught out. So essentially, I can't technically argue that the goal on Saturday against Villa wasn't his fault. He did get caught out of position. But I don't think that's fair to say that most of our goals conceded are down to him or it being on his side because of him. I don't think that's fair. I think that does need to be fact checked. Jamie also says that Trofeo is very good and consistent in his performances, but Hill for me has improved our defence a lot lately. Great shout out. And Paul from Oz, Bet Villa were happy when Kroupi was subbed. He's always a threat up top. I understand the minutes issue. He's young and can run all day. He's a goal scorer who's burst into impressed. Just an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this was another point made about the substitution and taking him off. Bearing in mind, we've got a quick turnaround, so Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Andoni's obviously managing the minutes of the players, and it's the right thing to do. I know even going back to last season, we couldn't fathom out the subs he made all the time, and at particular players or particular time in the game that he made the changes. But that's because we didn't understand the workings of Andoni. But now, coming into this season, we got used to the idea of what he's doing.
Yep.
Perhaps early season, it was, everything was good, wasn't it? And then we hit the bad patch, and then we got injuries. Is that because of this high intensity, high press? He's still got it there, but not so intense as like in early season.
Yeah.
So it's not a continuous part of the game plan to be permanently high press. Let them have the ball sometimes. But Saturday was a really strange one for us, as you mentioned, because we had a lot of the play, a lot more than we generally do. But it's good that they sort of ease the players off. Yes, they still have to run. I mean, I don't know how many kilometers they run. Last weekend, I did see something get flashed up on the internet. Crazy amount for the whole team. But we are super fit. So, yeah. Before we run off on the game itself, there was a little moment which, at first glance, you didn't think twice. You just thought, wow, there's a close effort from Villa. And when the replay ran back on the TV, we saw what a save Petro made. And, we thought that Martinez was brilliant, and he was, superb performance. Although Petro didn't have so much to do, but that save in the second half, or late on in the second half, from like cross shot, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
one of three. Actually, I was going to bring that up. One of three that could have gone in, saves from Petro. That again kept us. I mean, obviously compared to Martinez's 9, we had a lot more shots, and and Paul from Aussie says save from Matt Cash.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who took it. Yeah, thanks, Paul.
I think it can't be sniffed at, right? It can't be. Our nose cannot be turned up at the fact that we've gone on and played like that. My question is, I'll come back to Sean, your comments in just a moment, and we'll address some of those. But I know you're a glass half full kind of guy, and we all try and adopt that here on this channel. But given the way that we played in this circumstance, Mal, can it be looked at as a point gained, or is it 2 dropped in this game? Because in my opinion, we played fantastic, but we definitely could have had the 3 points there. So although I'm really happy and I'm really confident with how we're looking for the second half of the season, I kind of still came away feeling like we'd dropped points a little bit there. Is that unfair?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was just so impressed with the performance, from minute 1 to 90 plus, from goalkeeper to number 11, plus the subs. And I'm thinking, wow, they give it everything. Now, like I said, you've got to look at the opposition as well. And you're thinking, crikey, he's third in the table. And to be honest with you, 3 points, yeah. The performance warranted 3 points, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's not a give, is it? You have to finish it off, and that is not a slant on the players for lack of effort or anything. I'm just going to put it down that Martinez had an extremely good day at the office, because any other goalie, I don't think, would have kept them in the game like he did. I'm sorry, if anybody wants to disagree, they can do. We did everything we could but score. We'll have Darren tuning in at some point to say, well, if Tav was playing, he'd hit Rose head a dozen times, which is fine. I think he does. But
yeah, and they're coming back, right? Eventually, we'll have these players back, and we'll see what kind of impact and the difference in comparison they'll have when coming back onto the pitch or coming back in to get their minutes compared to what we've got now. Because, as we've said,
who do they drop?
That's the thing. That's the thing, right? I think it's going to be interesting to see the next 3 games where we've got Everton, West Ham, and Sunderland. Okay, I think it's the perfect run of games for us to be testing this starting 11. And I know that we're past the point of testing, and we shouldn't really be testing at this stage of the season, but given what happens with us every season, as you said, the high intensity play, lack of depth, if you want to call that, or lack of being able to rotate players when someone gets injured. We consistently see our injuries as well. It's not like we've had the greatest luck with some of our players, and most of our big names are out. As you said, you've got lack of Tav, Adams, Clivert. Already there is 3 of our main players that would have started every single week.
And Brooksy as well.
Go on.
Brooksy as well.
Yeah, Brooksy. Yeah, there's a ton, and I think it's interesting to see how well we do even without these players and without that orchestrated kind of voice in the middle of the pitch, and see who speaks up, because at the moment, sometimes it looks like Kroupi carries that final third when it should be Evan Nilsson, so there's a lot of discussions, especially from Saturday's game, how Ryan and Adley had an impact in carrying that final third. And
you also had Kroupi and Ryan as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Scott and Kroupi. It's like
yeah. Sean says I never hear Adam being caught, for example, but it could be all the social media rubbish I hear. Exactly that, Sean. Social media rubbish. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
He also said, I know you guys don't like looking that far ahead, but I think we will squeeze into Europe, especially with all the players coming back, plus not a bad run-in. Now, it is a conversation I'd usually shoot you down for and say, no, don't talk about it now. But we are in Feb, and we have come a lot further forward than where we were over Christmas, as always seems to be the case, which is...
Can we wait till April?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. As you know, Sean, Mal will avoid this conversation until the time is right for him, which is completely fair because, look, I'm constantly having a bit of banter with one of my best friends who is a Newcastle fan, and all season they've been able to badger me and tell me how does the weather look like from down there until very recently when we're now a point above them. So everything can change in a few games, and even the most unexpected things can happen. Newcastle have had a turbulent ride. Liverpool haven't always had it their way. City have been dropping points. Villa are third. There's a lot of things happening that we don't necessarily expect.
Nobody talks about Brentford, do they?
No, exactly. And if we're looking at the table, but above us, we're in 11th. We've got Fulham in 10th, Sunderland in 9th, Everton in 8th, and Brentford in 7th. And that's before our top 6. And you wouldn't have expected the following 5 to be them 4 and Bournemouth. So, going back to your original question, I think, yes, it is a good time to start thinking about it and discussing it. I think this month is imperative if you're going to want those discussions. And if the European followers and the European dreamers, if you are out there, which I'm sure you are, I'd be looking very closely at this month for these next 3 games, because this is probably where we need to get our points on the board and solidify ourselves above the other teams that are 4 places ahead of us. But I'm not going to entertain it any further because I know that Mal hates the subject. So What I do want to know is there was obviously some standout players and some big impacts on the pitch. Who was the best? Who was the biggest impact?
So many to choose from. Okay, the overall man of the match has got to be Martinez for Villa in goal.
Yep.
I don't think any football fan could argue that.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Hell spells. Who do you want me to pick? James Hill, Alex Scott, Rayan. Oh, goes on and on and on. I'm going to say Alex Scott. Wow. I mean, the guy is just so immense and he looks so comfortable, so at home. I mean, his touch of the weekend was actually brilliant. Whether it was taking the ball from a pass, laying something off, making things happen, moving it around. I mean, I had a couple of attempts as well. Things were, a couple of shots blocked. Absolutely, his vision, the way he reads the game, his tackling back, his defensive work. Yeah, the guy is awesome.
Yeah,
the guy is awesome. Give him a ticket for the plane.
Yeah, fair. Well, I
Give him
think
a ticket for the
he
plane.
agrees with a few others. Sean agrees. It's got to be our next big money sale.
Oh God, here we go.
No. He's in a level of his own. I wasn't going to read the rest of it like Messi. I know you don't like the comparisons, Mel. I know. Ryan Christie was a great player. Two different players there, Chris, but I understand what you mean. I'll be honest with you. I hate to say it, probably in an unpopular opinion, because of all the standout players and all the impacts on the pitch, I'm going to give it to Senesi. And it's only because I think without Senesi, James Hill isn't James Hill. I think entirely. I think when they play
it's
together,
a unit. It's a unit, isn't it?
Yeah, you just see them. They work together so well. And I think again, Senesi, he just controls our half in a way that maybe I don't think we'd have. And don't get me wrong, look, our defensive lineup isn't anything to be shouting home about. And we've obviously let in a lot of goals this season. There's a lot of things that need to be worked on. But overall, Senesi at the moment is just tweaking on my heartstrings. He's not signed that contract. He's got so much better. He looks like a Bournemouth player, and he's performing every game for me. He's performing as a centre back should perform. I think if there's an absolute standard of what a football player needs to do, it's perform in their position. And I think he's ticking that checkbox every week for me.
I can't argue with that at all.
Yeah,
but like I said, there were just so many good players on the park on Saturday. Really, and it's to just try and pick one out. It would be unfair on the others, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm really keen to see how we sum up against Everton. I think if we can come out with the same intensity and the same level of confidence and the same quality, it's going to be another fantastic watch because Everton won't be playing like Villa. So
there was another bit of news actually. Did you know that Tav scored a hat-trick at the weekend?
I didn't.
Yeah, his brother plays for Rangers. He actually scored a hat-trick. Sorry.
I was like, no. I was like, you didn't tell me this before the show. Why haven't you warned me about this news?
No, I've got to try and find something to cut you out.
Nice. Yeah, lovely. Good to hear.
We got to talk about what's his name? Alex Jimenez. So the obligation to sign him?
Yes.
Come on then, your views, mate. I'm gonna have some chocolate. You can have a say.
I don't know. Has something happened? Because from what I know, the last that I heard on the Villa game was his 18th game or 17th game. Is he supposed to be signing after Everton?
Well, there's actually Fabrizio Romano actually posted today. Now that is a very reliable source, if ever there was.
Go on.
I don't follow them. I put it up on Facebook, mate, this morning. You obviously don't follow it all.
I do. I'm busy at the moment.
No, you're right. No worries. No, but the obligation to sign has been triggered. So they're going to sign him, basically.
Fantastic. Okay, so we should see some movement or some news on that in the next week or two, really, with some confirmation.
I would think so.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. That's great news. Great news. Obviously, just coming back to that, Chris Hubble says Alex Scott was man of the match. Nice. Good to hear, Chris. Sean says a big shout out to the ladies. Final League Cup. Big shout out. Thanks for the reminder, Sean. Paul from Oz says, good point, Ollie. I think that's about Senesi. And James Hill, he's learning a lot from Marcus. Says also think we will win at Everton. And Chris says, hope so. Sean says, thought he signed. Don't think so yet. But obviously everything's been triggered for the go ahead by the sounds of things, Sean. Once again,
are we going to have a quick talk about the game tomorrow?
Yes, I mean we can. We are doing a live watch along, unless correct me if I'm wrong. I thought no, we're not doing live watch along.
We're doing a get together.
Oh, okay, not a live watch along, but we are doing another Cherry Slaps on
Wednesday
nights. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here because sometimes when need this orchestration and this management in my life sometimes, Mel. Wednesday night is going to be another edition of Cherry Slaps because obviously we've got another game at the weekend anyway. So please do tune back in for Wednesday. There's also another show to watch out for.
There's one out, the D-Court Social. So the preview for the Everton game's out up on the channel. And there will be another cherry picking coming up. We're not exactly sure when it's going to be posted. But Matt and myself will be doing it on Thursday evening recording. So maybe by the weekend it might even be up Thursday night. I don't know, which will be quite interesting. I'm not gonna say what the topic is.
No,
that's for you guys to tune in and watch.
Yeah, it is definitely
very interesting.
Yeah, one of the good ones. One of the good ones for sure. So do please try and tune into that.
I know Matt's got some more content coming out. He says he's got a backlog of work, and obviously the show with Paul from Oz.
Yep.
On Saturday, was it on the sidelines or whatever it is?
Yeah, is it on Saturday mornings? I believe it's almost.
Saturday. It's good. It's great. Yeah. It is.
It's like
I'm generally still in my bathrobe at the time. I was
going to say, I don't know if you remember watching Soccer AM back in the day, right? But it used to be on a Saturday or a Sunday morning at 7 a.m., really early.
Yeah, stupid, isn't it? Yeah.
It'd be on for about 3 or 4 hours. And it'd just be doing all sorts of different bits and bobs. And you're right. I kind of caught a bit of an episode. And it's that early that you're kind of making your tea in the kitchen on a Saturday morning. It's lovely. Really nice to listen to, actually. So, do go and check that out if you've got time at the weekend. But if you've got your notification bell on and you're subscribed to the channel, you should know about all these anyway that we're telling you about. So, better than I do. So, any other updates, Mal, before we say farewell and our Wiedersehen?
Come on, Everton game.
The Everton game tomorrow. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously the first time at the new stadium.
Correct.
Should be really exciting. Obviously for all those going. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Now, obviously having to watch some previews and everything else. Everton won 4, drawn 4, lost 4 the last 12, something ridiculous like that. Yeah. Strange team. They get it together, they let it go. You don't really know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah,
but I mean, they're in a really good position to be. Well, they're 8th at the moment.
Currently 8th, 3 points ahead of us. Sat in between Sunderland and Brentford. Yeah.
I didn't put them up that high at the start of the season. I said they would be okay. There wouldn't be a problem with relegation threat or anything like that. But I certainly didn't see them being, top 8.
No,
Wow.
no, there's definitely been some transitional changes within the team, right?
Obviously, we're not at the end of the season yet, but hey ho. But no, it'll be a really interesting game. There will be a different lineup for Bournemouth, as Andoni mentioned in his press conference, that there will be changes. How many, we don't know. My guess is there may be 2. Will he give Cookie a rest and put Brian Christie in to start?
Possibly. We do have a prediction similar to that down here: 3-1 win and Christie, Kroupi, and Adley to score.
Oh, well, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah.
Would he put Rayan on the bench and, maybe put Cookie at right back and move him and his up further up? I mean, his options are just unbelievable. Brooksy, perhaps, getting a start. What about that?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Predictions?
My prediction, actually, I think I said, no, I didn't. I put it up somewhere today. It might have been on the Dean Court Social. I wanted a clean sheet. Did I say 2-0 or 3-1? One of the two. I'll go for an away win.
A clean sheet would be lovely. Clean sheet would be fantastic.
Another clean sheet would be good.
I don't think it's going to happen. I'm also leaning towards the 3-1 mark, to be honest.
I mean, team performances over the last month have been superb.
Yeah, we got another one here. Chris, 3-1. Kroupi, Cook, and Christie.
I mean, I'm not going to say who's going to score because we got goals all over the pitch.
Yeah, agreed.
In fact, it'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to see Senesi with a headed goal?
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah, don't get me excited. I won't be able to sleep tonight. It's only 24 hours away, Mel. That'd be amazing. That'd be absolutely amazing. But look, fantastic for everyone joining us again. There's been
really nice. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, so really appreciate you guys who've been here for the whole hour. Tomorrow night.
Thanks for all your comments.
Yeah, fingers crossed for tomorrow night. Fingers crossed for the 3-1 that everyone's predicting. Thanks for all the comments, as always. Please do join back in with us on Wednesday night when we'll be looking back on the Everton game for another edition of Cherry Slaps. You lucky folks getting 2 lots of Cherry Slaps in 1 week.
I don't know if I can handle this.
It's not Christmas yet, Mal. All right, it's the start of the year.
No.
Yes, see you on Wednesday. Up the Cherries. Good luck tomorrow night and have a great evening. Thank you all.
Thank you. Up the Cherries.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.